Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 216, and I am Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. And it is August 11th. It is Mr. Awesome's birthday today.
It is. He's so awesome. He's going to come get Leslie's birthday present from me in a little bit. That's how awesome Mr. Awesome is.
I hope you have a present for him, too. You're making him come and get my stuff.
I don't. But I might go get one.
Anyway, so, yeah. Knitting show. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm almost up. It's so hard to get across this row. I don't know how fast I can do it. I'm knitting on my third Camp Loopy project, which is an 800-yard project done in your favorite color. Every single project I've done this summer has been in my favorite color, which is purple. It's funny how that all works out.
Yeah.
The first project was the sweater for Julia Grace in purple, and then I did my
big shawl.
Ginormous Shawl of Doom, also in purple. And now I'm knitting a sweater out of purple. So this is the start of every last yard.
That's all you've gotten done of it?
Yes. Because it's really boring. And I had to add a stitch marker because I kept flipping. See, it looks the same on both sides, but it's not. One side, this side, has slip stitches along the side of the row.
The selvage.
And then this side does not. Yeah. So I did have it a little bit further, and then I realized that I had switched those two sides, and so I ripped it back. It is being knit out of Tosh DK in the medieval colorway, which is a gorgeous purple. I have 5 skeins. I swatched last week. This is what the swatch looks like after it's been sitting on my desk with other stuff on top of it. And it's a very loosey-goosey swatch because the whole purpose of the sweater is to have a lot of space in between the stitches. And how the sweater is constructed is really interesting. You start, this is the back of the neck right here, then it goes down, and then you do this for 14 inches, then you do some short row shaping on this side, then you pick up your waist, your provisional cast on, there we go, and mine's not, it's not a provisional cast on, I'll talk about that in a second, and then you work the other side, and then you pick up stitches on both sides, and don't drop stitches off your needles because you're messing around with stuff. And then you do like a raglan shaping and work your way down. So it's designed to use every single last yard of yarn that you have. I did not do a traditional provisional cast on. What I did was I did Judy's Magic cast on, and then just put the half of the stitches on waist yarn.
Yeah.
For the other side. Which is my favorite way of doing a provisional cast on. So I have around 8 more inches to go on this, and then the short row shaping, and then I'll start the other side, and hopefully, my goal was to get 300 yards done a week. It's not 300 yards.
It's not.
But, yeah, it's not even really close. But, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Getting these stitches off the needle kind of distracted me a little bit. But it'll get there. It was my first true week at school, so I did not get a lot of knitting. Obviously, this was all done at midnight. Done. So, it'll get there. What are you working on?
I have several things on the needles. I also have 2 very needy dogs because Mr. Awesome has been gone for a week, and Neelix has now gone to the point of just sitting in a window and whining, so that's fun.
Oh, that's super fun for everyone.
Yeah. And Neelix hasn't quite decided if he likes Buffy enough to like be close to her, so if she's on the bed, I have to build a chastity row so that he can get on the bed too, because if he can see her, then he can't get on the bed and he'll just sit and stare at me. So it's been a fun weekend, let me tell you. Thank goodness he comes back tomorrow. But they're both right here.
And Kevin comes back tomorrow as well. Yeah.
He does, which is good, because 3 weeks I got to the point where I was like, I kind of miss the kid. He should come home now. So I have several things on the needles. The first, which has the least amount of progress out of anything, because I've ripped it out and restarted it so many times because I wasn't happy with what I was doing, was the shawl I'm designing for Kate of Infinite Twist out of the, I don't know how to say, the King How handspun.
Ooh, pretty.
And I finally have figured out exactly what I want to do. And most of the detail in this is going to be near the edge, so I wanted to keep the body of it super simple. So right now I'm just doing a very simple eyelet, because it's hand spun, so you don't want to try to put too much texture in it, or you'll lose it, because there's so much natural color gradation. So
what shape are you doing?
It'll be sort of half circular crescent E.
Okay.
It's not going to be anything too exact. It's just going to be designed to use what you got. So
fun.
So I don't have a ton of progress on that. More as that comes along, which I'll be working more and more on that this month. And then I swatched, although I don't think I have the swatch. Oh yeah, I do.
Score.
For out of the Barocco remix. I had the tag.
Oh yeah, you're gonna do like a oversized sweatshirty type.
So I swatched out of it, and so it is 100% recycled fibers. It's nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen. And it's really soft. It's like your favorite sweatshirt soft. And so I did a swatch, and everything plumped really nicely.
I like it.
And I got gauge. I had to go up to 11s. And so what I'm knitting...
Wow.
I know. What I'm knitting is called Eased by Alicia Plummer. Oh, Ease. Bulky. In this, she's got two versions. One I think is in fingering or sport, and this one's in bulky. And so it's just this really loose, oversized top.
Yeah.
And it's just meant to be like a throw-on, like.
Are you gonna do the collar that's pictured?
I don't know. I haven't decided. I will pick up and do some sort of collar just because of the way that it's written. I'll have to. I don't know if I'm going to do it quite that way or if I'm going to do it like a split neck like I did the hand spun one, because I really like that shape a lot. So we'll see. So basically it's just a big oversized, not a ton of shaping, and that's fine because I want this to be not a fitted thing, a very comfortable
It's not going to be something you wear to work. It's something that's around the house.
Right. And so I'm doing the largest size, even though it's a little bigger than what I need, just because it'll be fine to, I'd rather it be bigger than smaller. And I am getting very close to separating for the sleeves, actually, because it's bulky, so it goes really fast.
You've been knitting a ton on that. So
this is the back, yeah. So this is the front.
So it's a top down.
It's top down raglan, very simple. I mean, I would say this would be perfectly fine for a beginner because it's a very simple pattern so far. I mean, it is a paid for pattern, but it's knit out of a bulky yarn. So, and it's so nice to knit with because it's like your favorite sweatshirt that you get to knit with. Yeah. I really am enjoying it a lot.
Good. What needles are you knitting it on?
My Addy Click interchangeables in the size 11, which is 8mm.
Okay.
So, and this is ball number 2. I just joined.
Wow.
To ball number 2.
How many balls do you have?
8. I have plenty. I have 8. But there's only 216 yards per ball. So I've knit maybe 230 yards.
That's a good bit. I would be happy if I had 230 yards knit on this.
Well, this is bulky too, and yours is worsted.
Yep.
And then the thing that took almost the whole weekend is this pattern called Trick. T-R-I-C. And
so you have 2 sweaters on the needles.
I do. That's what happens when Michael goes out of town. I cast on all the sweaters.
Huh.
So this is, let's see if I can get a good picture of it. This is by Asa Tricosa, and it's a totally new technique to me. So this is what it looks like from the back. I kind of feel like I need to minimize all this crap so you guys can actually see. So this is what it looks like from the back. And then really it's hard to see the detail unless you look at the the front of it too. So it looks simple enough, but it's knit using a technique that she says she developed. It's the Aces top-down ziggurat technique.
It's a ziggurat technique. I love it.
I swear, it's a very...
I love people who name stuff awesomely.
Yeah. So, and I'm using some yarn from Heather of Highland Handmaids. I've talked about this before. And it's her Butternut DK, which is 85% Polworth, 15% silk.
And it's gray.
Yeah, it's sort of a bluey gray.
The bestest of the colors.
Says the person who's knit 3 purple projects this summer.
Wow.
So
usually, I probably have 18 gray projects on the needle.
So I spent almost all day Saturday and a fair bit of Sunday on this, and this is all I have to show for it. Because I ripped the collar out several times because paying attention is not my strong suit. So I would say this is kind of like Cookie A on steroids for sweaters. It's a very weird, like, technique. It's different from what I've done before. So this is the center, and you can actually tell it's the center because I twisted those stitches the wrong way, but no way was I going back. So kind of like the one that you're doing, you cast on provisionally, you knit out one side, but then you go and you do some short rows right here, and then you come back and you do this, and you knit out on this side, then you do some short rows, and you go around and you pick up the sleeve caps. It's intended to have 0 seams whatsoever.
That's kind of like the Ysolda Teague Kriya that I knit is similar to that.
I haven't knit that one. So this is the back neck, and this is the beginning of the shoulder caps right here. Yeah. Just started it. I actually just got this to a point where everything is on, like all the little bits and bobs are joined, and now I have to start keeping track of increases, decreases for...
At the same time.
Yes. But she's got a really handy chart, like for each size, where you can tick it off as you go, which is really cool. But my goal was to just get it to the point where everything was on the needles for the show.
That's awesome.
Part of the reason why we're recording a day late, because I was grumpy yesterday because I couldn't get this right, so I didn't feel like recording.
I was just lazy. I didn't get out of my PJs till 5 when I took a shower and got back into pajamas.
Clean PJs, though, yeah. So this pattern is supposed to be knit on a size 6, 4.0 millimeter, but I had to swatch 3 times and did not get gauge until I went up to an 8, which is 5.0 millimeters.
Dude, that's pretty awesome, though. I always like going up versus going down.
Yeah, but
which is what I have to do most of the time.
Yeah. Laura knits a lot looser than me. I usually have to go up at least 1 needle size.
I'm loose. Leslie's tight. What can I say?
That's what it is. And that's living in my Bling Your String, one of my clubs.
She has a club going on.
She does. And we'll talk about that. We're going to be giving away another membership.
Ooh.
I think next week. It's on the calendar.
Leslie created a calendar, which I failed to look at because I'm busy, yo.
That's okay. I'm trying to, be organized and stuff. We'll see how that works. But anyway, those 3 things are pretty much what I'm working on. I have not touched the Caterpillar green socks at all this week. Not once.
Okay.
So.
Did you finish anything?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you go? Yeah. So that you don't have to edit as much. See how carrying I am with others. I have totally been hanging out with middle schoolers again, y'all. Oh, it's so much fun.
What are you doing, Buff Buff? Okay, so I ripped back and did some creative decreases for my View From Here hat. And it is finished.
You gonna put it on?
Well, it might mess up my hair. My very fancy hair.
I like it.
Yeah. It's nice and warm. It's double knit essentially because it's, fair out.
It's adorable.
Yeah, I really like it. And I think Susan did a great job doing the gradient dye like that. That can't be fun really or easy to do on one skein, but she made it work, so.
Word on the street is she has kits available in her shop.
I don't know.
Or the yarn. No, she doesn't have the pattern. She's got the yarn, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can download the pattern by itself now. You couldn't until after SSK.
Okay.
It's a knit by bit design, and it's called The View From Here, and you can make it either a cowl or a hat. The yarn is from Desert Vista Dye Works. Susan does great work. I'm not certain whether or not the kits are available in her shop, but I know she does pre-orders for pretty much everything, so you could always message her if you wanted it. And I liked it. The pattern was well written. I didn't have any problems, except for running out of yarn, but that was probably my fault because I didn't gauge swatch.
I would say by the length of that hat that it was most definitely your fault. Because that's a pretty long hat, dude.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I live but to serve.
I follow the chart, exactly.
But if your gauge was off...
I know. Also, I finished another thing.
Back to you.
Back to me. Oh, my fuzzy hair is coming out of my little bobby pins. Yes, baby, I see you. I see you.
Hey, Neelix.
Daddy will be home tomorrow, I promise. And you'll be so excited. Alright, get
you
down.
You can climb inside of him.
Yeah. So I finished my Asunder.
Ooh, pretty. I like it.
I soaked it and then hung it out on the line, and then 5 minutes later it was dry. It dried really quickly. So this is out of the Cyborgs Craft Room. The variegated is Stellar, and the dark green is I Will Follow You Into the Dark. And this is by Lisa Mooch. She does
Northbound Knitting?
Northbound Knitting, yes. And it is quite large. I've woven in the ends, but I haven't trimmed them, so if you see them. It is very large. Like, it's bigger than my wingspan, so.
But you're short, so that's not saying much.
You're so nice to me.
I am. I'm the kindest of all individuals.
But yeah, it's very large. It'll be nice and cushy and warm. And
so what is your wingspan? You're how tall?
5'4", so 64 inches. I would say this is probably an extra 4 inches on each side, so probably 72, maybe 74.
Okay. That is good sized.
Yeah, so, and it's nice and drapey. It's not too warm. I really like it. I think I'm going to knit this pattern again, which is not a common thing for me.
Yeah.
God, look at my hair. Do you see that?
I do, but I wasn't going to say anything.
I think I'm going to knit this again in 2 skeins of Numma Numma that I found in my stash.
So, did that take all 800 yards?
I was a little bit afraid I was going to run out of the variegated.
Okay.
Which was funny because when I got to this last row, I was like, man, I'm going to have a lot left over. And then I was like, oh, man, no, I'm not. I still had probably 50 yards of the green left. But I would say of the variegated,
Does she do... Not to interrupt, I'm sorry. How much did you have left?
Maybe 20 yards of the variegated.
Does she do 400-yard skeins or
2
her
400-yard
bigger?
skeins.
Okay. I didn't know, because some people do bigger skeins.
Again, I didn't gauge swatch. Oh, actually, I think these were 460-something. These skeins were. But I didn't gauge swatch, so... I typically don't for accessories. But, you know, that has bitten me in the behind several times, so do as I say, not as I do.
I actually did knit something else this week. It was a baby hat, and then it fit on my head, and so I ripped it back out. But I was knitting Susan B. Anderson's 1 hour flower hat.
Yeah.
And out of hand spun, and I sent Leslie and Jess a picture of it on my head and said fail boat, and she ripped it all out.
I was just thinking, I wonder if I can pull it up on my phone, but then I thought, no, I'd have to go back too far and it would take forever.
I deleted it off of my phone. So I finished something, although I've only woven in ends on one thing because I finished them literally 2 minutes before we started recording. I finished my coloring book yarn socks in the play colorway. They look like that up close.
It's very pretty.
They have afterthought heels with a short row, and the short rows actually kind of look like diamonds. Like, because of how the color, I don't know, I think they look like diamonds. You can see there's that little extra material right in there.
Yeah.
And that's a short row. It's actually 4 short rows. Just to get a little bit more space on either side, so it's not pulling quite as much. So afterthought heels from the toe up, 1 at a time, on size 1, 2.25 needles. And I just have to weave in the ends on this one, and we are good to go. Someone at SSK told me that my cut afterthought heel socks looked much nicer. Like there were less gappiness on the sides than the other ones, and I was like, that's because you're weaving at end, so you just weave make those holes disappear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to wear these. Super excited. And I was worried about the cuff being a little bit short, but now that the heels are in, I think that they will be superb in length. And maybe if the foot's too short, then they will go to my mom, because her birthday's coming up.
Oh my god.
That was my phone. Sorry, one of my coworkers is calling me. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, so that's it for that. Sorry for those of you who got it, because it's sitting right next to my microphone.
Yeah, that was really loud, yo.
Sorry. So that's what I finished. Spinning wise, I finished my second bobbin of Shetland. So I have 2 bobbins now. This is the Double Dog Dare You colorway from Southern Cross Fiber. I just split it in half down the middle and spun each on a separate bobbin, and it will become a 2-ply. So I love Shetland. There's so much variety in Shetland. This is really, really nice, soft Shetland. Shetland, I think, sometimes gets a bad rap because people think it's scratchy and itchy, but it all depends on the type of Shetland you have. So David does a great job with his fiber. I always enjoy spinning his stuff, and it's nice soft Shetland, and hopefully I would love to do a Shetland style shawl out of it with maybe a contrast. Jared Flood's got this really cool pattern, so that might happen someday. We'll see. That's it for me for spinning. I'm gonna turn off my ringer on my phone while I'm thinking about it. What do you have going on spinning wise, my dear?
I don't actually have any spinning per se. While Michael's been out of town, I've been doing some very light processing work on the Cormo fleece. Oh crap,
cool.
I forgot to talk about that. I'll talk about that in a second. So Laura and I split a 6+ pound fleece. Well, we split several, but this one was the Cormo. And so over the past couple weeks, I've been doing just little bits here and there. I've got this one tub. It's like this, except it's like 3 times as long. It's shallow like this. And so I'll do 3 at a time, 3 batches at a time of maybe an ounce a batch or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't measure it out precisely. So I've got 10 ounces over 2 weeks.
That's a good bit done.
That's
washed, right?
It's washed. It's not processed, so it hasn't been flicked or anything like that. So there's little bits of like grass, and some of the tips are a little dirty, just from where it was clumped, really, like lots of mud clumped up on it, mud or whatever. But for the most part, it's nice and fluffy and soft and clean. I just have to sit and flick all the, veg matter and stuff out of it before I card it or comb it or whatever it is I'm going to do to it.
It's pretty short staple. I think you might be better off carding.
Yeah,
but
probably so. But this is a couple weeks worth of work, and it's only 10 ounces. I weighed it earlier, and I was like, are you effing kidding me?
Mine only ended up being total. I'll be interested to see what you get, but after fully being processed, mine only ended up being around 30 ounces. So I'll be interested in that's a third if yours is the same.
Yeah, I mean the bag's about a third empty, something like that.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot. We'll talk more about this probably next week, but the folks over at Webb's sent us these little kits to make critters.
Not Webb's, the Woolery, dear.
The Woolery. I'm sorry, that's correct. You're completely right. It is the Woolery, not Webb's. Sent us these little kits that
you have a turtle! Look how cute he is!
That you use your zoom loom for, which is a little 4-inch pin loom. And they send you get, the kit comes with the pattern and the yarn and everything you need to make the little guy. So I picked the turtle. There was like a dragon and, what did you get?
A lion.
A lion, yeah. I picked the easiest one for Laura because I was like, she's not going to want to seam a bunch of stuff. So
someone knows me very well.
I actually have woven everything I need to weave, but that's as far as I've gotten.
Oh, wow.
So I had to weave 11 of these little green squares 'Cause it was a fun. They take about 15 minutes apiece.
For you, maybe. I've tried to weave on my seam loom like 5 times and failed every single time.
Yeah. So I've got 11 of the green ones, and then I had to make 2 of these. These are for his belly.
Aww.
So I'm going
cool.
to try to seam him up this week.
Mountain color yarn, correct?
I have no idea. Doesn't say. Yes, Mountain Colors hand-painted wool yarns. Anyhow, so it comes in this cute little bag, and it's got the yarn in there as well as the directions on how to create the critter.
That's cool.
So I'm going to try to seam him up this week. Mine is called 2-Dot the Turtle.
Cool.
So anyway, that was fun, actually. I don't mind doing the little squares. I sat and watched The Fifth Element and did my squares.
Cool.
The other night. So
we have a question, and that is from You Name It, you spelled EWE. And she asks, what is the one fiber tool that you can't live without?
I don't know if it's fiber exclusive tool, but I would say a tape measure. I would say that's probably the one thing I could not live without as far as knitting and crafting goes. What about you?
I really use the heck out of my blocking boards. I have 2 blocking boards that I got at a yarn shop, and they actually sell them at Webs, because I looked for someone, I took a picture, and it was on Instagram. And they fold down like this, and then they store, you fold them up and they store. And I have used the heck out of that, not just for blocking stuff, but like when I wash a sweater, it goes on top of that to dry. Like, I use the heck out of those boards. So that's definitely something, like, good blocking boards and blocking wires are not to be underestimated. More so, I think, actually, like, the finishing that you do on some of your projects is just as important, if not more important, than the quality of the knitting.
Well, I would agree with that. Like, that can... Sometimes if you get a fancy new book and you're all excited about it, and then you look and the finishing wasn't done well, it kind of breaks your heart a little bit, you know? You're like, oh, if only you'd invited the knitter who, you know, or the designer to the photo shoot. You know, they would have tucked this in or whatever.
On a related note to that, when I designed for Dream and Color Yarns, it was supposed to be released on a certain date, and it was. But, like, 2 weeks before that date, the woman I was working with, Jess, had sent me an email saying, well, we have to redo the photo shoot because they did it in New Mexico and none of the Dream and Color people were there, and it was a photo shoot with a guy who is not a knitter, and he photographed the whole thing inside out. So my shawl was all photos, so they had to redo the photo shoot. And the photo shoot, the finished product, is gorgeous. Like, I could not ask for a better photo shoot and a better finished layout that they did for me. But, like, the fact that they, you know, told me that he photographed, and stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was funny. But yeah, I definitely think finishing, especially blocking, can be super important. So those are our tools that we cannot live without. Leslie's is a tape measure. Mine is a blocking board. On books, what we're reading. I am reading at the suggestion of my good friend Liz, Dalai Lama, on Ravelry. She and I have been texting back and forth book recommendations, and she recommended, because she knows I have a steampunk heart made of gears, that I should read The Phoenix Rising by Pip Ballantyne and T. Morris. So I downloaded that yesterday and started reading, and it is a fairly good steampunk. I'm not far enough in to really give it rave reviews. I'm only like 3 or 4 chapters in. It's definitely written in that steampunk type language. So at time when I was tired last night, I was like, steampunk language. But no, I'm really enjoying it so far. So if you are a big fan of the Gail Carringer books, the Soulless and all those, this might be something you might want to check out. I'll let you know when I finish it. And then you're reading something.
Yeah, I actually tried Soulless, and I could not get into it.
Really?
At all.
I love Soulless.
I'm listening to Eye of the World, which is the first in a series, and after we mentioned it last week, lots of people chimed in and said that they really loved it. So, and it's by Robert Jordan, And then I'm reading, this is my, like, terrible confession, but I'm reading a book called Obsidian. Well, I read the first one and then I downloaded the second one, but I haven't started it. And it's paranormal, sort of. I won't spoil it for anybody, but I was confused until almost the very end of it. But it was really well written. I was happy with how it was written. So I downloaded the second one and we'll see how that goes.
Do you know who it's by?
I can look it up on my Kindle because I have it right here. Well, not my Kindle, my tablet. I don't know if I would call... I guess it's young adult. Everything now seems to be young adult. Like, people seem to tag everything as young adult. Even though I don't know whether it always applies.
That's an interesting...
observation?
Yeah. I think YA as a genre has definitely increased. Just because they found that they can make money off of it.
Well, that's probably true. It's Obsidian. It's a Lux novel, Lux. And it's by Jennifer Armentrout.
Oh, I know that person. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You've probably read the series already.
I have not read that series, but I am familiar with the author.
So that's been what I've been reading and listening to. Mostly I've been listening to Eye of the World finally sucked me in, so I've been listening to that versus reading. So
we actually have 2 awesome giveaways this week.
Yep.
Leslie and I got some buttons, and mine are adorable little elephants.
I love those.
And this is totally going on something for one of the nieces.
Oh, yeah. I think you should make them matching hats and then do little button accents on them.
But then one would get 2 elephants and the other one would get 1 elephant.
We'll save one of the elephants for something else.
But everything
for
looks
when
better
Emily
in
has
odd
that
numbers.
third child.
It's not going to happen. There's a medical procedure that's been done that will keep that from occurring.
So mine are these little robots, which I think are adorable.
They're super cute.
And when I ordered them, I was like, oh, I could put them on a sweater or something for Kobe. But then I was like, yeah, no, he'll be too old for that very shortly. So.
Aw, Kobe's going into what grade this year?
He starts 6th grade.
Yeah, that's the cusp.
So.
Soon he'll be bringing girls by the house.
We live in a neighborhood of nothing but girls his age.
That's true.
Yeah, that'll be
awesome. He came over and watched Frozen with me. He wanted to watch Frozen the other night, and he told me I was not allowed to sing the Frozen songs. And I was like, I'm totally down with that because I'm 33 and not 13.
He went and spent the night with his sisters. He has 2 half-sisters down in Memphis that were my ex's children from a previous marriage. And so they're 13 and 12, and he's 11, and he spent the night with them and was so excited and so happy that he cried a little when he left because he didn't want to leave. But they had a really good time. So
good.
Anyway, so that has nothing to do with the giveaway, really, except that we're giving away a set of buttons.
We are, and they're adorable. Leslie picked them out, and they are itty bitty sheep. And then there's kind of like, I like to think of it as a lollipop type button.
Yes.
And then there's this one that has a heart and 2 dots. So 3's odds always make awesome numbers. This would be a great little thing for a hat or a sweater.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. And these are by I love puns.
Fascination
Studio. So very cute stuff. She had a ton of cute buttons. And she is on Ravelry as Knits and Notes. And she's got a Ravelry group called Fastenation Studios. So we will have one contest thread for these awesomely cute buttons. And we will send you over to her shop and have you link to us your favorite set of buttons. And that will all take place in the Ravelry group.
Mm-hmm. And then we have another giveaway this week as well, which is super sweet. It's from courtesy of Kim from Kicks and Giggles, and she is going to give away a custom bag set, and it's one is a satin lined drawstring bag with a clear like zipper bag that goes with it.
Oh, cool.
So it's a set, and she also has a 10% off code for our viewers It's in the show notes, and it's Knit Girls Rock for 10%
awesome.
off. And so we'll start a contest as well for Kim's bag set, a custom bag set, and you'll just have to hop over to her shop and tell us what set you like in there, because it would be a custom set. You would pick the fabric and everything. So
Cool.
you would just hop over and choose what you would like and put it in the thread on Ravelry. All of our contests will be on Ravelry.
Awesome. Other things that have been finishing up on Ravelry is Stash Dash is over.
Mm-hmm.
I succeeded. Leslie succeeded. And lots of other people succeeded. We had over 100 more people put, like, a post in the finished objects thread than we've had in the past. We had tons more. In fact, by the end of the first month, we had more cheddar than we had all of last year. So, super overwhelming success. And I think my queue has grown by leaps and bounds. If you need any inspiration, go to the Stash Dash thread. It is filled with awesome inspirational posts by tons of awesome viewers. And it's just wonderful. So I highly encourage, and I love the thread, the cheddar thread, so much, and I miss having that around, that I started a fall cheddar thread. So on our Ravelry board, there's just a cheddar thread for people to go chatter for the fall, and then we'll switch it up when it becomes winter and spring. But it's a great place for y'all to encourage each other along, show successes, show failures, and get a little feedback. So
I'm thinking like the Loopy F5 lounge. That's what it makes me think of.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I hope it's that successful.
Yeah.
Also on our Knit Girls board, I have to start this thread, but I have not yet. We are going to do Expand Your Horizons with silk hankies. I am going to be spinning some silk hankies, but you are welcome to also knit silk hankies. And I will try to get that thread up tonight or tomorrow, and then also link some patterns for silk hankies or some spinning tutorials as well.
Yeah.
We also, starting September 1st, on the Knit Girls Ravelry board, we'll have a Halloween craft-along starting. And basically, anything that you can sell to us as being a Halloween craft, go for it. I could sell this sweater because it's purple, and witches wear purple. Like, come on now, people. Although your your item that you are crafting needs to start no sooner than September 1st and October 31st, and we will have some prizes for that, Cal. So that'll be lots and lots of fun.
I think we should go through the Stash Dash thread, and anybody that finished Stash Dash, we should put their name in a hat. You and I can do this privately. Put their name in a hat and draw 3 or 4 winners from the stash that my friend sent me to pass on.
We can totally do that.
Yeah, because we have some really great, beautiful items that can go to loving new homes for people who have used so much of their stash, they obviously need more.
There you go.
So for people who have finished, we'll go through and see how many there are. Draw some new stuff.
Yeah, cool. I'll have to actually make a count. Actually, I should probably try to do a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Work.
Yeah. Excel.
We had a note to talk about Spinzilla, but our team is full.
Yay!
Which is awesome.
That's our note about Spinzilla. We are going to do a lot of the chatter for Spinzilla in the Spinzilla group because we want to show how awesome we are to the Spinzilla folk and be like the chattiest thread like always. We are using the hashtag Spinzilla 2014 or what else? Is it Team Knit Girls?
We could do TKG Spinzilla 2014. I don't know. We'll brainstorm and talk about it.
Yeah, I think I already posted one of the hashtags up there, but we can I know both hashtags were posted, but we'll get into there.
Yeah.
I'll link them somewhere. I'll make them important.
Go check the Spinzilla board, the Knit Girls thread on the Spinzilla board.
Yeah, it might have actually been on the Knit Girls board on that one.
You just said
I know, but there were 2 threads. That's why we're moving over there.
Okay.
So I can keep up with stuff.
Do you have
now
a plan
that I'm at work
for what you're going to spend for Spinzilla?
I do have a plan. I'm kind of looking at it right now. I have, so last year, there was an awesome article written by the Fleece and Fiber Sourcebook, Deb Robeson, about some awesome fiber that would be quick to spin for Spinzilla. And it listed for 2 types were Border Leicester, which I happen to have almost processed an entire fleece of. It's actually, some of it's behind me in my item of doom. So I have, that's a flicker behind me, or not a flicker, that's a
picker.
Thank you. Picker behind me. So I have this awesome Border Leicester that just has been picked open and jumbled up and just needs to be made into bats. So that's going to be part of it. And then I'll get rid of some of these like short bits. Like there's a short bit right there.
Yeah.
That will go bye-bye. So there's the Border Leicester. And then I also have 2 Romney fleeces. So the plan is to wash one of those Romney fleeces before Stash Dash and get that processed into bats. Probably, I'm not going to do the 10-pound one. I'm going to do the smaller one first. Which was actually a cross, not just Romney, but also, hold on, I have it in my phone. Because Leslie sent me a picture. It was mostly Romney, but it also had a bunch of other things in it. And while I look for that, do you have a plan?
I'm just going to try to get, I'm going to continue working on my Cormo fleece, like getting it cleaned and ready. And ideally, what I'll work on during Spinzilla will just be that fleece. We'll just continuously be spinning bobbins and bobbins of fleece, and then plying it together, because you get credit this year for plying, which is awesome. Yeah. So ideally, I'll spin at least 1 fleece. It's only a week, so probably 1 fleece.
So this sheep was called Ruby, and y'all are looking at, she's mostly Romney with some Coopworth
and Border Leicester.
So I think that might be a good one to look at as well. So, and that's my big plan. So hopefully I'll get the Cormo done before that point, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I have 2 designs that I have due, like, in a month, so I gotta get on those, too.
I need to work
and
on
Camp Loopy.
That's true.
So, the designs, you'll see one of them, but you won't see the other, because it's a secret design, but they should be fairly fast. And that is about it for me. Is there anything else that you have to talk about, my dear?
I don't think so. No, no, I don't have anything else. Oh, so, thank you for everybody who was very sweet and wished me happy birthday.
It was your birthday. I'd forgotten that. That happened this past week.
People were very kind, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Cool.
And that's it. That's all I got.
Awesome. Well, we will see you all in a little less than a week.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yep. Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.